Hey everybody, and good morning. Andy Dalton is the newest member of the New Orleans Saints and the newest member of the Saints quarterback room, which has changed because now Taysom Hill is a tight end and not a quarterback. But I believe Andy Dalton is an upgrade at the number 2 position, and here's why. I also believe that Andy Dalton will make Jameis Winston even better quarterback if that's possible. Let me show you why as well. This is Andy Dalton as he was with the Chicago Bears when he was number 14. He's 34 years old, 6'2", 220 pounds. He didn't have the greatest year with the Bears, but that doesn't take away from the fact that he has had a storied career. Having started the year in 2011 as a draftee from TCU to the Cincinnati Bengals, Dalton since then has racked up consecutive starts going from 2011 all the way to 2019. Over that time, he was thrown for as much as 4,293 yards, and that was in 2013. He then went to become a backup with the Dallas Cowboys, and then most notably the Chicago Bears, where he gave way to Bears first-round draft pick Justin Fields out of Ohio State. What Andy Dalton brings to the table is starter-level experience that matches Jameis Winston, and they can therefore trade different ideas on how to attack defenses. And Dalton, he can even share some plays that have worked in the past and in the recent past with the Saints and with Winston that can be applied this year. The kind of intermediate to short range passes that Jameis Winston has been practicing because he wants to get better at throwing this season are passes that Andy Dalton has thrown his entire career. Andy Dalton was not impacted by a coaching staff putting him in a deep passing game. So as a result, he's thrown passes like this one. This is the first play to open the 2021 regular season with the Chicago Bears against Los Angeles Rams. And this is with Dalton at quarterback. Let's watch what happens and what is called out of this play. Let's run it. There. See? The Saints can actually borrow that approach to use against the Rams, but also as part of a staple of plays they would install for both Winston and for Dalton as well. Dalton brings to the table experience at how these plays are designed and ran, an experience that you can add to the playbook of the New Orleans Saints. Here's another example from the same game later in the same drive. Head coach of the Chicago Bears, Matt Nagy, was employing an approach featuring split backs and a shotgun, putting one back in motion with the idea of forming a kind of a misdirection passing, whereas they send the motion person to the left in this instance with the idea that it will spread out the defense and have some defenders believe that Dalton will look to the left rather than to the right, and also pull the defender away to the left. Instead, Dalton gets the snap and he immediately looks to throw a quick pass out here, where the receiver almost scores a touchdown. Okay, that's another approach and another example of a short to mid-range pass that the Saints can use against an organization like the Rams or other organizations during the 2022 NFL season. Dalton's statistics were not pretty, and he threw almost as many interceptions as he did touchdowns for the Chicago Bears, a big reason why he wasn't retained and why Justin Fields was installed faster as the starter. Let's take a look at the next play in this series that led to an interception. Here, we can see Dalton at quarterback and in an obvious passing situation. He's going to go back and look to throw to the second receiver that appears behind number 85. But It's a throw that was ill-advised. This is how he handled it. Takes 2 steps back. Look, again, we have another quick passing example. But this time the Rams are ready for the quick pass. They're back with the Bears receivers, as you can see, man for man. The pass is tipped. Dalton was attempting to throw to the second in the combination pattern. And it was intercepted. So where the offensive coordinator drawing the play needs to be careful, and Andy, is in making absolutely certain that when faced with situations like this in the red zone area, that you have receiver patterns that stop and take advantage of the airspace between them, don't, as opposed to where he runs here. 85 should have been assigned a hook zone pattern. It looked like he, even though he wasn't the primary. They should have had him come over here and stop. That's not Andy's fault. That's the fault of the offensive coordinator. But the point is that Andy has enough experience here to share his experiences, good and bad, and help produce a better Saints offense for 2022. To repeat, I believe the Saints quarterback room is better than it's ever been in some time. That's not to knock the quarterback room with Drew Brees in it, but to say that the Saints do have in Andy Dalton a backup who has as much experience as Drew Brees. Maybe he didn't achieve the same level of success, but he brings that experience to New Orleans Saints to help Jameis Winston, who has a better arm and throwing motion. Together, this is going to produce a better offense, better production, and more wins. Subscribe to Zenny62 and bookmark OaklandNewsNow.com.